Hi, this is Bill Spatrino. Today is May 15th, 2019. We've been away from the Truth Machine. For those who don't know, I had a very bad throat infection, and I do podcasts for my investors on the Dividend Machine and the Inner Circle. I was having a lot of problems, and my editor was in the middle. He was sick himself, and he had very hard classes. He's a college student. He had some very hard classes. He had the most unreasonable physics teacher and a math teacher who wasn't very good. I'm not going to say his school because I don't want to make anybody bad. But if you take these teachers, if you go to these schools, if you go to college, I'm going to give you guys a tip. Your kids go. There's a thing called Rate My Professor. If it says the professor's what I call an ass clown, get away from him. Don't take him. Okay, I don't care if the times fit. Don't take them. If you have to graduate 6 months, they'll take 6 months off your life and stressing the crap out of you. Okay, don't do it. Okay, I'm giving you a hint. Being successful does not mean you have to sit there and get yourself aggravated. Being successful in investing is like looking for 1-inch bars and jumping over them. Okay, that's what I do. Okay. The first thing we're going to talk about is the political part of it. Obviously, Trump came up with a better name than I did for Mayor Pete. He called him Alfred E. Neuman of Mad Magazine fame. Okay. Actually, I think Neuman is probably a little smarter, although Pete's not a dumb guy. He went to Harvard. He fought in a war. Okay. And he has he's trying to get people to understand things. Okay. I don't dislike Mayor Pete. His problem is, the kind of voter that he's trying to get, for the Democrats to win the election, they have two basic plans. Cheat in all the states by putting in illegal people. And see, once you register someone, then they go into these wards. You're supposed to have a Democrat and Republican in every ward. Well, you don't. Okay? Because who's going into these bad neighborhoods? You're not sending anybody there. I told the Trump administration last election, I said, if you want, you need to get some Navy SEALs and have them go into the worst neighborhoods. And at least you'll stop the cheating or slow it down. You're not going to stop it. But the other thing they have to do if they want to get legitimate votes is they have to get the white working man back. Okay, they lost those people in Ohio and Pennsylvania and Michigan and Wisconsin. And I just don't. My uncle, God rest his soul, for those of you who knew Uncle Bob, was a great union man, okay, union plumber, the best. And, my uncle voted for who he liked. If you put him to work, he liked you. If he didn't put him to work, he didn't like you. He would respect Mayor Pete because of his service, okay. His Harvard degree, my uncle doesn't care about. But in the end, you can't. My uncle came from a school of people and he doesn't care about your race, your sexuality, anything like that. My uncle said there's two kinds of people that do and people that don't. And that's how he was. Okay. And he's a person that he's not going to vote for a person who, it's not that he's a homosexual. That's not what's stopping him. Okay. What the white working man, when you're a Harvard graduate, and Trump's a Wharton School of Business graduate, but Trump has the construction mentality. Okay. Someone says it's because he's gruff. It's not that he's gruff. It's that when Trump says something, like him or dislike him, you know where he stands. He's not mealy-mouthed. Mayor Pete standing there and he's just talking about gender identical policy in both parties. My uncle don't want to hear that. The white working man wants to know how you're going to bring jobs, how your policy are going to bring jobs to America that work for a living. Okay? And see, that's just it. The union man has backed. I talked to a person, I'm not going to say the union because I don't want to reveal the person, Like this person's the head of a major head of a union. I saw him this year when I was in Vegas. And he said to me, he actually said it to one of my friends, 43% of the workers in this union voted for Trump. And he personally, off the record, told my friend that Trump, he likes Trump. He loves what Trump is trying to do. He's talked to many presidents, and he has never talked to a president. Now, this is all off the record. That does what Trump does. Okay? For the working man. Because Trump understands all his buildings he built in New York, union help. He understands what the working man is doing. And we'll talk more about this trade deal with China, but basically, I think Beto is out, okay? I really believe strongly that this campaign, there's 4 people, in my opinion, that are left in it that have a chance to win, okay? And I'll rate them in the order that I think it can do. Mayor Pete was 4th. He's number 4 in my mind. Number 3 is the hooker, Kamala Harris, okay? Kamala, the hypocrite, I mean, she basically said that no matter who you are, you get health care, okay? Like, I have no problem with illegals who are, you slice their hand open, they need stitches. I don't have a problem with people like that coming to the hospital. I'm not, but they can't go, they cannot get free checkups. They cannot get anything that isn't imperative. I'm sorry, they don't deserve it. These people, this people on the left are saying that undocumented people, they call them undocumented, I call them illegal. Okay, if I go into someone's backyard and start growing steaks and taking all their stuff and sitting in their yard having a pool party, it's like the guy from Disney. Oh, they're undocumented. Chief, why don't you let all these people come into your park for free? Okay, I don't do it. There's a hypocrisy. You can't. I don't see how you're going to get ahead. And then she wants to take people's guns. Do you know how well that's going to play in Pennsylvania to the union man? It ain't. It ain't going to play. Okay. They don't want to hear it. The Democratic Party's 2 biggest contenders are 2 old white people, Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden, whether you like it or not. Now, Bernie gets all the young people. Okay, someone says, Billy, you think that Bernie likes all the stupid people. Stupid's the wrong word. Naive, maybe is a better word. Socialism doesn't work. Bernie has millions of dollars. If he was really a socialist, and he says he is, he would live in one house, and he would sell all his other properties and give them to people that don't have anything. But he doesn't. It's the Democratic Party is the party of do as I say, not as I do. Now, the Republican Party says, people say, Billy, what do you think about them? They're not the do as I say, not as I do. They're the don't do party. They're the party of, you know that there was a song back in the day, I'm too sexy for my, and they had this guy acting like he was this prima donna. That's the Republican Party. They're too good to do anything. They just want to sit around, give orders, and then they want to, when something does happen, like there was this deal with GM that Trump did, Rob Portman, who hates Trump, comes in and is like, oh yeah, Rob Portman. And Trump calls Rob Portman his friend. And I mean, I know he has to work with the guy, but I wouldn't be saying that. Okay. But Bernie, honestly, I hope Bernie wins. Okay. Because I want Trump to win. And Bernie, if Bernie gets into a debate with Trump, if Bernie is the nominee, the Democratic Party will not win Pennsylvania, not win Michigan, not win Ohio, not win Florida, not win North Carolina. And if they don't win those states, they can't not win Iowa. They're not going to win the election. Okay. Anyone who votes for Bernie is mentally ill. I mean, you're mentally ill. Okay. If you're listening to this and you plan on voting for Bernie, check yourself. Maybe you'll get the free health care. Check yourself into an insane asylum. Okay? Because the guy doesn't even believe the things he says. We have a guy local named Dennis Kucinich. He ran for president a few years back. Dennis is probably one of the, Dennis actually believes the nonsense he says. Bernie does not believe in socialism. If he did, he'd give his money away. He doesn't. And then he's saying, well, I wrote a book, I'm justifying being rich. Whoa, dude, come on. I don't care that he says that. I care that he says he's a socialist, and then he does that. Okay. I don't see, Joe Biden is going to win the nomination. Okay. They're tipping it for him. Okay. Unless he completely collapses, he's going to be the nominee. Okay. And he's got a real problem with the whole deal that happened with his son, with the favoritism with China. Okay. When you go in and see it, it'll be very simple for you that you'll be able to see that he's not. There's a book written by Peter Schweitzer, okay, and he explains completely about it, okay. I got to meet Peter Schweitzer. If you go on my Facebook page, you see a picture. In fact, I think I'm going to put the picture of me and him. It'll be on the YouTube. It'll be the heading for the YouTube thing. And he wrote the book Clinton Cash. The book Secret Empires, you got to get the book. Okay, I don't want to give you the whole story, but basically explain that Biden, his son Hunter, flew to China on Air Force 2, and then 2 weeks later, their firm got a private equity deal for $1 billion, okay, with the Chinese Bank of China, okay, which got as big as $1.5 billion, okay, and he's shaping U.S.-China policy. And his son, who has no experience in private equity, clinched a deal. And he was working with John Kerry's stepson, okay, on this. That's why when Biden last week said China's not a threat, he doesn't want people going on to that. Schweitzer connects the dots in the book, okay, and talks about how Biden and his partners collected LLCs, and they talked about Rosemont, Seneca Partners, with Biden and John Kerry's stepson and another guy that worked for Heinz, okay. These people, they're doing the possibility of commercial cooperation. And what's funny about this meeting is it occurred hours before Hunter Biden's father, Joe, met with the Chinese president in Washington as part of a nuclear security summit. Okay. That's what China does. Okay. They corrupt people who are selling out the country. And you can read about all this. I don't want to go into the great details. Get the book for Peter Schweitzer, okay? Clinton Cash is a great book, but the other one, Secret Empires, get it, okay? And it'll explain it all, and you'll get it, and it'll be nice. But I don't think Biden, to me, we'll talk more on the next couple things, but I just think, people say, do you have a nickname for this guy? Yeah, Grope. If he ran with Mayor Pete or Kamala, it'd be Grope-a-dope. That's what their thing would be. I thought when he ran with Beto, it'd be Grope-a-dope. And Beto's the dope. Grope-a-dope. But I think Beto's out now. I just think Mayor Pete took, unless Beto pretends he's gay. Now, he may do that. He's pretended he was a Mexican. He pretended he was Irish. He pretended that he was like a bad guy and all this cool guy. And that's my guess, okay? We're going to talk about the stock market. It's dropped the last 6 days, and the trade war. Trump, this is what's happening, folks. Trump understands that China is the only threat that they have. China, he had a deal with them. China figures, okay, we're going to wrench on the deal. Trump's coming closer to re-election, Trump will just give in and sign a bad deal. Just like what they tried to do to him in December, the Congress tried to give him a bad deal. Folks, Donald Trump is the best president this country's ever had since George Washington. Okay? Because he's not going to take this kind of stuff. Negotiation is his thing. Again, it's very simple. If I pay you $100,000 a year and you pay me $20, if we don't do business, who gets hurt? Me? You give me $20. I give you $100,000. China, they answered back with tariffs. It was so feeble. And they act like they're going to push Apple around. Folks, I got news for you. Apple bought their stock back today when it dropped. Apple's laughing. Apple makes iPhones in China. If China tries to screw Apple, Tim Cook, he doesn't look like it, but him and Trump are like twins. And I mean that seriously. One's a boisterous man who's married to a beautiful woman, and the other guy is a gay man who is very understated and, talks about social injustice and all that other stuff. But they're both killers. Okay, in business, they're both great negotiators, Trump and Cook. And when they get it wrong, they get it right. Trump has given American companies, what he's telling them is, you want to avoid the tariffs? Don't do business with China. He's hurting China's business. China, in their stupidity, one of my Asian friends tried to explain to me, Billy, these people don't want to lose face. I got news for you, bud. You can lose face or you can lose your teeth. Okay? Do you understand? If you make an argument with Mike Tyson, let's say Mike Tyson wants to beat you up. Now, you have two choices. You could tell him, you could act like you're a tough guy and have your teeth knocked down your throat. Or you could just admit that Mike Tyson is stronger than you and you need to get the best deal you can from the guy. Maybe you give him $5 and you can walk away. Okay? But you can't take on somebody you can't beat. Folks, China is in way over their head. Militarily, I've talked to people, I've said this before, in the Army and Navy. China couldn't, if we had a war with them, it would last about 3 weeks. That's it. They're not a nuclear power. They're not anything. They got $3 trillion of their own debt. And they've got a lot of people they're on bank loans there. I'm going to tell you something you won't read in a paper. They have a lot of funding there that people have through their stock market and through loans. The government thinks they're smart by pushing down the value of the currency to make their exports look better. Okay, because they're cheaper to buy. What they don't understand is the business people in China, they're trying to spend a currency that's depreciating, and now they got to pay tariffs on top of it. So they get a double whammy. Chinese business people, now the people the people that run China, and I want people to understand something. The Chinese people are fine. The 10 or 12 delusional thugs that run the country, not so fine. Okay. Bad people. Very bad people. And they're stupid. They're like people who think they knocked out little kids, so now they're going to knock out a big guy. Okay. Not happening. I'm just telling you guys, it isn't happening. Okay, will the stock market drop a little bit? It might. What stocks are good, Billy? People are asking me. Walgreens, symbol WBA. Kraft Heinz, symbol KHC. They're fine. They're both fine. You're going to do fine with them. Apple that we told you about, Snap that we told you about, they're all going to, AMAT, they're all going to do fine. The market, I will tell you this right now. There will be a trade deal. It'll happen in the next maybe 5 or 6 weeks, okay? China will act like they made all this great deal. The United States, and people say to me, Billy, why do you know that? Because China's bleeding. The people are leaving as we speak. They don't want any part of it. It's like telling somebody that this person has herpes. Doesn't matter if it's true. 20% of the people are going to believe it. And Trump understands that China's behind us, but if we don't change things, they're going to catch us in 5 or 10 years. Trump just changed the whole parameters around. So just stay the course. If you're an investor, stay the course. If you want to buy, someone said, should I buy Apple today? I'm telling you that if you buy Apple tomorrow, Apple will be worth more in the next 6 months. No question. Okay. last thing we're going to talk about is sports. The basketball and hockey playoffs are coming up. I am going to make my predictions on who I think is going to win a thing. In hockey, I think the Boston Bruins, who defeated the Columbus Blue Jackets in my state, team I follow. I think the Boston Bruins, my friend Rob, my friends Matthew, Mike, they're all going to enjoy this, okay? But I think the Bruins, win the Super Bowl. I mean, the Stanley Cup. And in basketball, I don't like Golden State necessarily. I mean, I just don't. Actually, Kevin Durant is he's the best player in the league by far. Although the guy in Milwaukee, I could see those two guys battling in the championship. As much as I'd like to see Milwaukee get them, you can't. If you pick against Golden State, it's like picking against Trump. You're not getting the right odds. Okay, but I would like to see the Bucks win, but look, Golden State just won without Durant their last two games against Houston. I think Portland is not going to be. I think Golden State could sweep them, and then they'll go into the final. The only team that has a chance, Toronto doesn't have a chance to beat them either. The only team that has a chance to beat them is the Bucks, and that guy, the Greek, is going to have to go crazy. And he's going to have to get a lot of help. If he doesn't get any help, he isn't going to do it. So, please subscribe. Tell everybody about us. We're back. We'll be doing these things constantly now. I feel, like I said, my producer was he had a very busy semester, okay? And I don't like winters here, okay? One day I'll be in a warm climate in the winter and I'll be happy, but I'm not there yet. So, from behind the wheel of the truth machine, this is Bill Spatrino asking you to sit back and enjoy the ride.